इसको मूवी बोलना बंद करो आप।
जी सर।
ये पिक्चर नहीं है
जी।
ये एक सच्चाई है इस देश की, जो हमारे देश के सेकुलर शब्द भी मत बोलो उनको, हिजड़ा कायर बोलो उनको।
जी।
उन लोगों ने ये सच्चाई छुपा के रखी है। धन्यवाद दूंगा इस डायरेक्टर को जिसने ये सच्चाई बाहर लाया, और जूता मारे उन सेकुलरों को, उन कुत्तों को जिन्होंने इतनी सच्चाई छुपा के रखी है, इस देश को बर्बाद किया है। हर चीज मालूम है क्या? 1947 में कितने हम बर्बाद हुए आप लोगों को मालूम है? कितने हिंदुओं पे अत्याचार हुआ क्या आप लोगों को मालूम है? किसी किताब में पढ़ाया गया?
में सुखम वर्धितो हम त्वया हिंदु भूमे सुखम वर्धितो हम
इन्होंने इतनी सच्चाई छुपा के रखी है, इस देश को बर्बाद किया है। हर चीज मालूम है क्या? 1947 में कितने हम बर्बाद हुए आप लोगों को मालूम है? कितने हिंदुओं पे अत्याचार हुआ क्या आप लोगों को मालूम है? किसी किताब में पढ़ाया गया?
In India, we are digging up the grave of a man who died 300 years ago. His empire was long buried, not just by time, but by another far greater empire, one that for better or worse shaped the world we live in today. I mean, just listen to me. I'm speaking to you in the language of the British, not the Mughals. And yet here we are, resurrecting or haunt us. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world, no one is digging up Pol Pot, Ceausescu, Pinochet, or even Genghis Khan. No one in India is even contemplating digging up the grave of Churchill or Lord Curzon. Why? Why do some let history rest while others keep exhuming it? The answer is not in history. It's in the politics of grievances. And today, we are diving into why India's obsession with the past is holding its future hostage. Why does India keep fighting battles that ended centuries ago? The answer is simple. Because the past has become a political currency in today's India. To a degree it has always been, but over the last 10 years, it has gained a lot of value. Some might say that as the value of rupee has diminished, the value of this political currency, the wounds of history, has only appreciated. A wound that must never heal, a debt that must always be repaid.
नमस्ते सदा वत्सले मातृभूमे त्वया हिंदु भूमे सुखम वर्धितो हम त्वया हिंदु भूमे सुखम वर्धितो हम महामंगले पुण्य भूमे त्वदर्थे महामंगले पुण्य भूमे त्वदर्थे पतत्वेशकायो नमस्ते नमस्ते पतत्वेश.
Let me take you back many decades to the 1940s. K.R. Mulkani, who became the editor of Organizer, the RSS mouthpiece, and also one of the founding members of Bharatiya Jansangh, said that if the unity of the country is to be made stronger, ancient foundations must be reinforced and modernized. The principle of this reorganization can only be Hindutva. In other words, history is not just history. It's a fortress, it's a crutch, and it has to be a weapon. This best summarizes the politics of Hindutva, a politics of grievances, a strategy where the past is never resolved, only revised, repackaged, and reused. The question then is, why does past hold such power over some societies and not others? And the answer lies in the philosophy of conservatism itself. Michael Oakeshott, the British philosopher, put it best. He said, to be conservative is to prefer the familiar to the unknown, the tried to the untried, the actual to the possible. In other words, conservatism is not just about protecting traditions. It is also about fearing changes. And now apply this to India. This regime is not interested in creating the future. It's obsessed with correcting the past. Building the Ram Mandir, scrapping 370, rewriting textbooks. These are not acts of governance, they're acts of catharsis. But catharsis doesn't build a nation. At some point, the question arises, after you've corrected history, what's next? And that's where the problem is. There's a reason this government struggles to build anything truly new. Because to build something new, you need to imagine a future. And a government addicted to the past, their philosophy tied to the past, has no imagination for the future. Think about it. Demonetization, a catastrophe. Make in India does not work. Even its so-called successes, GST, Aadhaar, are riddled with problems and all are, in essence, inherited ideas from the previous regimes. And now that Ram Mandir is built and Article 370 is gone, what's next? Maybe the Uniform Civil Code? Another symbolic battle in the endless war against the past? This time the Hindu Code Bill, that is. But here's the thing. Symbolism does not build economies. Symbolism does not create jobs. Symbolism does not educate children. It only feeds the machine of grievances, keeping people locked in yesterday as tomorrow slips away.
में कितने हम बर्बाद हुए आप लोगों को मालूम है? कितने हिंदुओं के पे अत्याचार हुआ क्या आप लोगों को मालूम है? किसी किताब में पढ़ाया गया?
So, how do you keep people trapped in the past? Because when you have no vision for the future, that is all you've got for yourself. You feed them stories. Stories of betrayal, lost glory, enemies within. You can see this happening in other conservative societies as well. I mean, our neighbors keep talking about this glorious past. We keep now talking about this glorious past. Make America Great Again is glorious past. But what better medium than cinema? Films like Kashmir Files, Kerala Story are not just movies. They're carefully crafted narratives designed to shape national memory. They're not just entertainment for the sake of entertainment. They're propaganda. What is the lasting impact that Kashmir File will have in you, outside of the anger that you felt after watching it at that point of time? Sorry. The thing is, truly great art does not come from fear. It does not dwell in past grievances. It creates new possibilities. Even if it is about history, it just does not generate anger and apathy. It should generate some vision, some action for the future. But for conservative politics, the future does not exist. There's only the past, and a past, and a past, and a past that never ends. So back to our question. Why are we not digging up the graves of Pol Pot or Genghis Khan? Because history is not a battlefield everywhere. In Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge is remembered, but it is not weaponized. In Mongolia, Genghis Khan is a national symbol, but no one is burning villages in his name. The past has to be studied, acknowledged, and even debated, but it cannot be a crutch. In India, though, we see that the past is not just remembered, it's relived over and over again. Because those who claim to be building the future aren't really building anything at all. They themselves are prisoners of history, and they want to keep you there too. The past is a weapon, a shield, a prison. The present requires action, and the future requires vision. This government has neither. So a country that cannot imagine its future is not merely stalled, it is already dead. Even if its limbs still twitch, its streets still hum, its people still march to the rhythm of their daily lives. It is the death of imagination that precedes the death of nations. the slow suffocation of possibility under the weight of nostalgia weaponized into governance.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
सम्माननीय आदरणीय दीदी, आदरणीय दीदी, ओ दीदी,
को मूवी बोलना बंद करो आप। जी सर, ये पिक्चर नहीं है जी, ये एक सच्चाई है इस देश की।
Look at history. Civilizations do not collapse solely because of invasion or economic ruin. They collapse when they can no longer conceive of themselves beyond the stories they have already told themselves. Rome, long before the barbarians breached its gates, had already rotted from within. Its senators more obsessed with rewriting past glories than forging new ones. The Ottomans, before they were defeated, had already ceased to dream, content with the ghosts of conquests from long past. And what of India? What happens to a nation when the only stories it tells itself are those of its wounds? When its leaders, instead of speaking in the language of aspiration, speak only in the language of vengeance.
Like this one have become commonplace in India.
8-10 जॉब फेयर्स गए हैं, 4-5 कंपनी हो चुकी है हमारी जो है।
बहुत ही ज़्यादा मुश्किल है, देखा जाए तो आजकल के दौर में हम लोग ग्रेजुएशन करने के बाद इधर
जिसने ये सच्चाई बाहर लाया और जूता मारे उन सेकुलरों को, उन कुत्तों को जिन्होंने इतनी सच्चाई छुपा के रखी है, इस देश को बर्बाद किया है। हर चीज मालूम है क्या? 1947 में कितने हम बर्बाद हुए आप लोगों को मालूम है? कितने हिंदुओं के पे अत्याचार।
A country that cannot imagine its future is already digging its own grave. One election at a time, one revisionist textbook at a time, one law criminalizing difference at a time. And by the time the funeral procession begins, it won't even realize that the death it mourns is its own. And if we continue like this, we won't just be taking up the graves of Aurangzeb and Babur. We'll be digging our own. So what do you think? Should we keep fighting the battles of the past, or is it time to look at something in the future? Thank you.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge.
8 नवंबर 2016 की रात्रि को 12 बजे से
चीफ मिनिस्टर के लिए मेरा एक ही संदेश है कि वो राज धर्म का पालन करें।
हार्डवेयर वालों की सोच क्या होती है, हार्ड वर्क वालों की सोच क्या होती है।
अरे ये ना पंजाब की खुशबू।